बताइए। This third application minutes. One application was considered and rejected on merits as well.
बदल क्या गया ये बताइए।
Minutes. In fact, there is no great change in circumstance. We are not coming on the merits of this case. Although I will be taking my laws into merits, I am coming on the age of the applicant point.
क्या है age?
As per the arrest memo which was executed 2 years back, he is 73 years of age. Today, even if we believe the prosecution, he would be 75 plus years of age, my lords. Allegations against him are, I'll narrate that later on, but that is the age of the applicant. And he has been in custody since the...
इनके ऊपर एलिगेशन क्या है? आमिर को किस तरीके से मृत्यु कारित हुई है?
That is, it's a case of circumstantial evidence, because there is no eyewitnesses to the incident.
इनके ऊपर क्या एलिगेशन है? नवाब है ना आप तो?
Ji, I am the father of the principal accused person. The prosecution story is that Bablu alias Bashir, he was the principal accused. Only distinction is that he had motive against the other accused person, the complainant party. Allegations are that on the date of incidents, there was previous animosity and bad blood between these two.
पार्टी बनाया है नवाब साहब को क्यों बनाया है?
इनका ये कहना है FIR में कि बबलू बशीर आए थे. He takes the 8-year-old child of the complainant away. That is all happening in front of the eyes of the complainant, owing to previous bad blood, but the complainant does not object.
I'm asking.
Later on, they say that they were also present at that time while the child was being taken away.
Who was present?
That is the present applicant Nawab and the other two sons. The 4 accused persons in this case.
Yes.
My lords, may kindly see their documents, my lords. They have filed application for taking documents on record.
कब फाइल की है?
So this was filed on 14/11.
These are the
additional documents on record. Yes, पढ़िए.
These are the statements of the complainant.
हाँ पढ़िए.
I'll read the relevant portion. my lord. घटना के समय मैं अपनी किराने की दुकान
और किसका स्टेटमेंट पढ़ रहे हैं आप? किस पर?
ये है नसीब खान कंप्लेनेंट.
हाँ नसीब खान.
घटना के समय
किस पैराग्राफ में पढ़ रहे हैं?
सर फर्स्ट पैरा ही चीफ में फर्स्ट पैरा ही
जी.
घटना के समय मैं अपनी किराने की दुकान में जो मेरे घर पर ही है उस पर बैठा हुआ था. तभी वहां पर मैंने देखा कि आरोपी बबलू उर्फ बशीर खान ने मेरे लड़के आमिर को घर के बाहर बुलाया. आरोपी बशीर के साथ फैज मोहम्मद, हाफिज खान, नवाब खान दी प्रेजेंट एप्लीकेंट भी था. इसके बाद उक्त चारों आरोपीगण मेरे लड़के आमिर खान को बाजार तरफ ले गए थे. मैंने देखा कि जब मेरा बच्चा आमिर नहीं दिख रहा है, तब मैं भाई हामिद खान, अभिषेक यादव आरोपीगण के पीछे पीछे गए थे. आरोपीगण ने मेरे लड़के आमिर को देवेंद्र यादव के खंडर में ले गए थे. हम तीनों लोग भी उसी तरफ गए थे और जब खंडर के अंदर पहुंचे तो वहां पर चारों आरोपीगण मेरे बच्चे आमिर का गला कपड़े से फंदे से दबा रहे थे और हाथ पांव रस्सी व कपड़े से बांधे हुए थे.
FIR कब हुई है?
FIR हुई है my lords.
Immediately FIR.
उसपे नाम है आपका?
28/9/2020 named FIR.
इनका नाम है?
Yes my lord, named FIR.
May I submit now, my lords?
Please.
Now, my lords, what my submissions are, it is true, that is what I was submitting. The only circumstance available again, what they say over here, कि गला घोंटते हुए मारते हुए देखा, that is nowhere in the FIR. All those omissions have been taken out. May I just read the FIR out for my lords? The FIR reads in such a way, my lords. आज करीब शाम 6 बजे की बात है. बबलू बशीर खान ने मेरे बच्चे आमिर खान को घर से बुलाया और बाजार तरफ ले गया. बबलू उर्फ बशीर खान के साथ फैज मोहम्मद पिता नवाब खान, हफीज खान पिता नवाब खान पिता फूल खान भी, ये चारों लोग मेरे लड़के आमिर खान को देवेंद्र यादव के फूटे खंडर में ले गए, जिनके पीछे पीछे मैं तथा हमीद खान एवं अभिषेक यादव दौड़े. किंतु चारों ने मिलकर मेरे लड़के आमिर खान को हाथ पैर व रस्सी व कपड़े से बांधकर गले में कपड़े का फंदा लगाकर कसकर मार डाला. जब तक हम खंडर के पास पहुंचे तो चारों मेरे बच्चे आमिर खान का गला फांस कर हत्या कर कोयला हार तरफ भाग गए. फिर मैं समझा कि बच्चा जिंदा होगा तो बच्चे को खंडर से उठाकर बाहर मैदान में ले गया, किंतु मेरा बच्चा मर चुका था. फिर मेरे भाई वहीद खान ने 100 नंबर पे फोन करके पुलिस को बुलाया. Now, may I just give my analogy of the prosecution story before my lords. Prosecution story is that there are two factions of the same family. In fact, the original family is the same. There is heavy animosity between these two factions. The family of Nawab Khan, I am the father of all the 3 other co-accused persons. And the other person whose child has allegedly been done to death. They say, the complainant says, I was sitting in my shop. My child, who is about 8 years old, was playing around in front of me inside the house. This person, Bablu Bashir, who has absolutely no reason of being there because of the previous animosity, comes to my house. In front of my eyes, he calls my 8-year-old child And after that, he starts taking my 8-year-old child away while being accompanied by these 3 other persons, that is his father and 2 other brothers. There is no objection resisted at that point in time. He does not stop them at that point in time. Nothing happens. He just lets them go away. Now, 2 versions come from the prosecution. One, possibly that he immediately follows. That is, since his these people who he had bad blood with, they were taking his child away, he immediately gives chase. Now, if that be true, if my lords will just see the scene of crime when they reach the spot, the scene of crime department, that is a pseudo forensic department of the investigating agency, they reach the spot, in what condition they find the body. That is, whether this incident could have happened on the spur of the moment or, so fast as what the complainant wants to narrate it. They say that the body was tied down, the hands were tied at the back, there was some sort of cloth stuffed into the face, the article which was used, the rope which was used to tie the hands, was also tying the legs back over there, and that it was tied very tight down together. And the only circumstance, Milad, as per the prosecution story against me, is that while Bablu Bashir was taking this child away, these 3 other accused persons were present on the spot, and they also went along. Now, for all practical purposes, my lords, the only circumstance against the present appellant, who is again, at the cost of repetition, about 75 years, is last seen together. There is nothing else, because nobody has seen the incident being perpetrated. Now, if my lords were
This witness Naseeb Khan says that
Yes.
he had seen that incident taking place in front of his eyes.
No, that he says in his court statement, and we have taken out those omissions before the court.
Ji.
He will be bound by the statement he has given by the FIR. He cannot improvise his statement in the court,
Ji.
because that we as defense counsels will take out, which we have.
Ji.
My only submission is the original version which comes forward is that these 3 took my child, these 4 persons took my child away.
Ji.
That also is highly improbable, my lords. Our defense before the trial court, not before my lords,
Ji.
would be that in fact the child was recovered from this khandar, who had been murdered, because the cause of death is in fact strangulation. Because of the animosity, my entire family was named, but that is a far stretched argument we'll raise before the trial court. As of now, I'm only limitedly before my lords to show prima facie the discrepancy in the prosecution story, coupled with the fact that the applicant is about 75 years of age. Number 2, that the sole complainant in this case, who has seen them 3 going away, who has given chase, who's the star witness in this case, he has already been examined. There is no question of his tampering. And just one last legal argument for my lords. My lords, the position of law in this regard is settled, and it was settled way back in 1991, that can the circumstance of last seen together be the sole circumstance on which any person can stand convicted. The Supreme Court, my lords, in 1991 answered this question. May I just read out one judgment for my lords' convenience, and the second one I've got a copy which I'll even cite before my lords. The first judgment, my lords, is 1994 supplementary volume 2 SCC page 372.
Ji.
Should I repeat, my lord?
नहीं हो गया 1994 supplementary 2 SCC 372.
Yes, my lord. It is the case of Arjun Marik. Arjun Marik Marik versus the state of Bihar. Relevant portion is paragraph number 31, my lords.
Ji.
I'll just read out for my lord.
Please.
It reads in such a way, my lords. Thus, the evidence that the appellant had gone to Sitaram in the evening of 19/7/1985 and had stayed in the night at the house of the deceased Sitaram is very shaky and inconclusive. Full stop. Even if it is accepted that they were there, it would be at best amount to be the evidence of the appellants having been seen last together with the deceased. But it is settled law that only circumstance of last seen will not complete the chain of circumstances to record the finding that it is consistent only with the hypothesis of the guilt of the accused, and therefore no conviction can be based alone can be founded. Now, the second judgment which I've had it taken out for my lords, that book.
That is,
my lords, 2005 volume 12 SCC page 438.
Ji.
This, my lords, is the case of Jaswant Gir versus the state of Punjab.
Ji.
Relevant paragraph, my lords, is the last few lines of paragraph number 5.
Ji.
May I read for my lords?
Please.
It says, my lords, in such a way: in the absence of any other links in the chain of circumstantial evidence, it is not possible to convict the appellant solely on the basis of the last seen evidence, even if the version of PW 14 in this regard is believed. In view of this, the evidence of PW 9 as regards the alleged confession made to him assumes importance. So again, this principle was reiterated in 2005, my lords, that last seen together cannot be the sole circumstance of convicting any person. Now, my lords, the FIR I have read out before, my lords, which says that he never saw any person having strangulated his child, tied down his child in any way. All he sees is that Bablu Bashir calls his child out of the house. And after that, Bablu Bashir starts going along with this child. He is accompanied by 3 other persons, 2 young men who are Bablu Bashir's brothers, and one Bablu Bashir and the 2 other men's father. That is Nawab Khan, the present applicant before, my lord. I'll even read out his 161 statement, whether there he has assumed the status of an eyewitness, so to say. This is Naseeb Khan's 161, my lords.
Please.
पूछताछ पर बताया कि मैं ग्राम वीराऊ का रहने वाला हूं। मेरी गांव के बबलू और बशीर और बबलू खान से पुरानी बुराई चल रही है। आज करीब 6 बजे की बात है। बबलू और बशीर खान ने मेरे बच्चे आमिर खान को घर से बुलाया और बाजार तरफ ले गया। बबलू और बशीर खान के साथ फैज मोहम्मद उर्फ मंटोले पिता नवाब खान, हफीज खान पिता नवाब खान पिता फूल खान भी थे। चारों लोग मेरे लड़के आमिर खान को देवेंद्र यादव के फूटे खंडर में ले गए, जिनके पीछे पीछे मैं तथा हामिद खान एवं अभिषेक यादव दौड़े, किंतु चारों ने मिलकर मेरे लड़के आमिर खान को हाथ पैर रस्सी व कपड़े से बांधकर गले में कपड़े का फंदा लगाकर कसकर मार डाला। जब तक हम खंडर के पास पहुंचे तो चारों मेरे बच्चे आमिर खान को गला फांसकर हत्या कर कोयला हार तरफ भाग गए। फिर मैंने समझा कि बच्चा जिंदा होगा तो बच्चे को खंडर से उठाकर बाहर मैदान में लाया, किंतु मेरा बच्चा मर चुका था। फिर मेरे भाई वहीद खान ने 100 नंबर पर फोन लगाया। मेरे बच्चे आमिर खान की लाश गांव के देवेंद्र यादव के खंडर के पास पड़ी। Now, the only way in which I distinguish my case from Bashir's case is that Bashir, there are 2 circumstances. One is the circumstance of last seen together, and the second circumstance would be that of motive. That is why Bashir's case cannot be compared to my case. The other 2 applicants, why they are not before my lords, is that age benefit, as I am arguing, is not available to them. Now, that is the substratum of my argument.
कुछ लाएं क्या सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट?
No, my lords, age benefit is a discretionary power, so I would not impine upon my lords by a judgment. That was only to show the law in this regard.
कितने गवाह बच गए अब इसमें?
My lords, as of now, 1 witness has been recorded, but I will not attribute the delay to the prosecution. The only delay which is attributable to the prosecution is, although I was arrested on 30th of September 20, the evidence of PW1 only commenced on 5th of January 2022.
उसके बाद क्या हुआ?
उसके बाद, my lords, then we also took some time to cross-examine this witness.
12-10 तक तो आप ही ने क्रॉस-एग्जामिन
जी,
किया।
that is true.
जी।
That is why. But the fact remains, my lords, is that I have been in custody for more than 2 years.
उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। कितने
18 विटनेस है?
18 है नहीं। आई विटनेस सिर्फ यही है लास्ट सीन का कि और भी कोई है?
आई विटनेस सिर्फ 2 है सर। तो लास्ट सीन का ये है और एक और है सर इसके साथ में।
क्या नाम है उनका?
उनका नाम है सर नहीं सर, ये एक ही है सर, ये नसीब खान।
ठीक है, I'll consider.
Well, my lords, this is the 3rd bail application. All these points have already been considered by this one.
Sure.
Statements were not recorded at that time.
Only the statement is the new circumstance.
स्टेटमेंट भाई 5/1/22 से हो रहा है स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्ड। अच्छा
जी,
ठीक।
highly obliged, my lords.